Stop everything you are doing and listen with the intensity of a man who has decided to never struggle again. If you truly absorb what I'm about to say, if you listen with hunger and do not drift, if you return to this message day after day and allow it to soak into your subconscious until it begins to think for you, then hear me now. You will attract more money than you can spend, and it will not surprise you. It will not confuse you. It will not intimidate you, because it will be the result of something greater than effort, greater than education. It will be the result of law. Money does not come to the busy. It does not come to the needy. It does not even come to the deserving. Money comes to the man who has trained his mind to expect it every hour, every day, without apology, without contradiction, and without fail. The man who is poor in wallet is first poor in thought, but the man who is rich in mind cannot stay broke for long. This is not mere hope. This is not wishful thinking. This is spiritual law, immutable, invisible, and available to you if you listen like your life depends on it, because in a way it does. What you are about to hear is not motivation. It is not entertainment. It is instruction. It is the blueprint to attract more money than you've ever imagined if you are bold enough to believe. So I say to you, turn off the world, silence your doubts, and give yourself fully to this teaching. For when it ends, you will no longer think as the average man. You will walk differently. You will speak differently. You will expect differently. And money will feel it. And it will come. Introduction. Riches begin with a state of mind. If you do not yet attract wealth, it is not because you are not worthy. It is because your mind is not yet prepared to receive it. Riches do not appear by accident, nor do they gather around the man who merely works harder than others. They gravitate to the man who has prepared the soil of his mind to hold them, believe in them, and command them. Money is not emotional. It does not respond to struggle. It does not weep for your effort. It flows to those who expect it, believe in it, and speak of it with confidence. I have studied thousands of men, great men, rich men, poor men, drifting men. And the difference was never luck. It was never schooling. It was always belief, always consciousness. You must understand this clearly now. Money is magnetized by thought, not random thought, but sustained, definite, emotionalized thought. Your current wealth, or lack of it, is the exact reflection of what you have habitually believed possible for you. If your pockets are empty, it is because your belief system has holes. It is not punishment. It is the law. Wealth is not earned by toil alone. There are millions of men toiling harder than the rich man, yet receiving a fraction of the reward. Why? Because wealth is a product of state of mind. It begins inside. It begins with self-image, with faith, with expectancy, and if those ingredients are missing, no amount of effort will compensate. Confusion repels wealth. Vagueness clouds the subconscious. If you say you wish for money but feel unworthy of it, or speak against it in secret, or resent those who have it, then the law will respond accordingly. You cannot expect a tree to grow if you pour poison on its roots. You cannot expect wealth while cursing its presence. Riches do not obey the man who pleads. They obey the man who commands through belief, clarity, and decision. And the power to command does not come from arrogance. It comes from understanding the law. It comes from harmony with truth. It comes from deciding that wealth is your rightful state, not someday, but now. If you are ready to become rich beyond measure, if you are ready to demand riches of life, not with greed, but with spiritual boldness, then I say to you now, listen with your whole being. For what follows is not a list of suggestions. It is a sequence of laws. Each truth is a rung on the ladder of abundance. Miss one, and you fall. Obey them, and the vaults of fortune will open to you. This speech will not simply inform you, it will recondition you. If you listen daily and allow the sound of wealth to replace the old silent whisper of poverty in your subconscious, then I promise you this. Money will begin to come, so much of it, so freely, that you will wonder where it has been hiding all this time. It was never hiding. It was waiting, waiting for you to stop doubting, waiting for you to rise, waiting for you to believe as you never have before. And now it waits no more. Repeat this now. I am the architect of wealth. I believe, I demand, I attract. Again, I am the architect of wealth. I believe, I demand, I attract. And now we begin with the first great law. Part 1, money comes to the man who expects it. There is a law, cold and unbending, which governs the flow of wealth. No man may become rich until he first expects to become rich. This expectation is not a shallow wish. It is not the mere hope of the weak man who cries out to the sky in times of lack. It is the quiet certainty of the one who knows that money is his servant and not his master. Wealth consciousness is the foundation of all riches. Without it, a man can labor for 50 years and still have nothing to show but the calluses on his hands. With it, another man may labor 10 and draw into his life more money than he can spend in 10 lifetimes. The difference is not effort. It is inner certainty. It is belief. Wealth consciousness is a state of expectation. It is a mind that looks into the future and sees not lack but plenty, not delay but arrival, not struggle but increase. It is not arrogance to expect riches. It is alignment with law. You do not apologize for expecting gravity to hold you to the earth. Why apologize for expecting the law of abundance to respond to your belief? Understand this. Money cannot resist belief. Money follows belief as surely as a shadow follows light. The man who walks with strong expectation in his heart causes events, people, and opportunities to arrange themselves in his favor. He may not see it at first, but the universe is already bending to his certainty. Most men repel money without knowing it. They speak of wealth with jealousy. They criticize those who have it. They fear it, doubt it, or idolize it. They say things like, money doesn't matter, while secretly wishing for more. This contradiction poisons their subconscious. It erects a wall between their efforts and their reward. You must become a man who expects wealth as naturally as he expects to breathe. You must treat money not as a prize, but as a partner, one that walks beside you as long as you walk with clarity, service, and purpose. Do not shrink in its presence. Do not tremble in its absence. Speak to it with the calm of a commander. Henry Ford did not stumble into billions. He carried billions in his consciousness long before they ever reached his hands. He did not ask, "Is this possible?" He said, "It will be done." When his engineers said a V8 engine could not be created, he told them, "Build it anyway." And because he expected the result, it appeared. Expectation is not emotional noise. It is not desperation. It is inner government. It is decision made solid. It is thought fused with purpose and unshakable resolve. To expect riches is to leave no room for contradiction. You do not speak doubt one day and belief the next. You do not ask the opinions of lesser men. You decide. I say this to you plainly. If you are poor in wallet, you must begin by becoming rich in thought. Look around you. Your current reality is the outpicturing of your habitual inner state. If it is small, grow bigger within. If it is chaotic, become organized within. If it is lacking, expand your belief within. You are not a slave to your past. You are not cursed by birth or background. You are not held back by the economy, by politics, or by your education. These are the lies of small thinkers. You are only ever held back by what you believe is possible for you. Repeat this with fire. I am not afraid of wealth. I welcome it. I expect it. I deserve it. Say it again. I am not afraid of wealth. I welcome it. I expect it. I deserve it. The world cannot argue with a man who believes. Doors will open where none existed. Opportunities will find you before you find them. Ideas will emerge, people will align, and momentum will gather around you, not because of magic, but because of mental law. But this law requires discipline. You must feed it daily. You must protect your expectation from the termites of fear and doubt. You must walk with wealth in your voice, in your shoulders, in your eyes, even before the gold arrives, especially before it arrives. That is the test. No more small talk about poverty. No more guilt about success. No more shrinking in the presence of wealth. You are not the exception. You are not the outsider. You are the one who has chosen to rise. And now that you know the law, you must never again speak against it. Write this down. Post it on your wall. Repeat it every morning. Money is drawn to my belief. I expect increase. I expect reward. I expect riches in great abundance. Hold this thought with intensity for 30 days, and your outer life will begin to reflect the fire you have ignited within. The change will be quiet at first, a conversation, a decision, an opportunity, but it will grow. And once the law responds, it does not withdraw. Part 2. Money obeys your chief aim. There is no man, living or dead, who has become wealthy without first forming in his heart and on paper a definite chief aim. Not a vague dream, not a polite intention, but a clear, written, burning, emotionalized demand placed upon life with full expectation of its fulfillment. This is the throne of all wealth. Money does not flow to indecision. It avoids vagueness like light avoids shadow. The man who cannot say exactly what he wants and why and when and how he plans to get it shall receive nothing. For he has given the law nothing to respond to. His thoughts are scattered. His action is sporadic. His results will mirror his confusion. Your definite chief aim is your command post. It is the instruction you give to your subconscious, and your subconscious, in turn, gives it to infinite intelligence. It is the blueprint that all your plans must serve. It is the seed that every day must water. It is the sentence that must become your identity. Write it, speak it, repeat it. This is not foolishness. This is the method of kings. Andrew Carnegie demanded that I write my own definite chief aim before I could even begin the work that would become Think and Grow Rich. He would have dismissed me entirely had I not burned with clarity. He knew that a man with no aim is a man with no claim to riches. I ask you now, what is your chief aim? Not what you might want if it were possible, but what you demand of life as a man of purpose. If you cannot yet say it aloud, then you are not yet ready for wealth. But if you can form it in your mind and put it in writing and say it with conviction, then wealth has already begun moving toward you. Look at Edwin C. Barnes. He did not say, "I'd like to work for Edison." He said, "I will become his business partner." No money, no connections. Just an idea so definite, it gave him the courage to board a freight train and show up at Edison's door. He carried his chief aim into every word, every gesture, every moment, and it made the impossible submit. This is how the law works. What you demand, believe, and act upon consistently and without apology must come. Life cannot deny the man who never wavers. The only reason most never receive what they want is that they never truly decide what they want. And let me warn you, your aim must be written in fire. It must stir your blood. It must cause you to speak differently, walk differently, and act with a new sense of force. If your aim does not excite you and terrify your former self, it is too small. Expand it, sharpen it, own it. Your chief aim must also be surrounded by organized planning. A wish is powerless without structure. What service will you render? What value will you give in return for the riches you demand? The law does not reward beggars. It rewards builders. Post your aim where you can see it daily. Carry it in your wallet. Read it morning and night. Speak it aloud until your subconscious accepts it as identity. You are no longer a man who hopes. You are a man who commands. And when the world attempts to distract you, when weak men tell you to be realistic, you will return to your aim. It will be your anchor. It will remind you who you are. It will burn through doubt and whisper again, "This is where I am going. Nothing can stop me." Say this aloud. I fix my aim. I speak it. I burn for it. I bend life to it. Again with decision. I fix my aim. I speak it. I burn for it. I bend life to it. Now write this. My definite chief aim is, and then state your specific goal, the date, the reward you seek, and the service you will render. Repeat it aloud, twice daily, with faith, clarity, and emotional intensity. You are building the mental magnet that wealth will answer to. The more definite you become, the more undeniable you become. Remember, the man who lacks a chief aim will chase money forever and die with nothing. The man who forms it, believes it, and acts on it will command wealth to follow him like a shadow follows the sun. And now you have your aim. Part 3, desire is the spiritual magnet for money. Desire is the fire that gives breath to wealth. It is the origin of all creation, the starting point of all achievement, the fuel behind every fortune. Without burning desire, riches will not come. Not because they cannot, but because they are not commanded with enough intensity to be drawn into your world. Desire is not a whisper. It is a war cry. It is not passive. It is not polite. It is a spiritual force, emotionalized and fixed in the mind, that refuses to let a man sleep until his aim is fulfilled. Where there is no desire, there is no drive. And where there is no drive, there is no destination. You must learn to separate casual want from consuming desire. One drifts, the other conquers. The world is filled with men who wish for wealth. They speak of riches on their lips, but keep poverty in their hearts. They want to be comfortable, not great. They want safety, not conquest. And life gives them what they expect, little. Desire is spiritual when it is fused with service, definiteness, and faith. It must become obsession. The kind of obsession that drives you from your bed in the morning, that makes your chest burn with purpose, that pushes your body into action before the world even wakes. Look to the example of Andrew Carnegie. He did not gather a fortune by luck. He was consumed with a desire, not only to possess riches, but to create, to build, to uplift. He selected men with burning desire. He rejected the brilliant who lacked fire. Why? Because desire is the only force that transforms vision into value. When you possess burning desire, the world will begin to bend. Circumstances, obstacles, people, they rearrange around the man who refuses to accept anything less than the object of his vision. The universe has no defense against the man who decides he will not be denied. Desire makes you alert. It increases your ability to recognize opportunity. The man who burns with purpose will see doors others walk past. He will find energy others have not tapped. He will move mountains, not because he is stronger, but because he is on fire. But this fire must be controlled. It must be channeled. A wildfire consumes without purpose, but a focused flame builds empires. Your desire must be tied to your definite chief aim. It must be written, repeated, and felt. Speak it aloud with emotion. Visualize it with clarity. Move toward it with action, not mere imagination. Do not ask if you are ready. Burn until you become ready. The desire itself is proof that you are already worthy. The fire within you is the signal of life calling you upward. Do not smother it with fear or delay. Feed it, fan it, fuel it until it roars. Say this now. I burn with lawful desire. I attract by emotional intensity and decision. Again, louder. I burn with lawful desire. I attract by emotional intensity and decision. Every man who has built lasting riches did so not through idle want, but through unrelenting desire. Think of Thomas Edison. 10,000 failed experiments. 10,000 dark nights. But his desire for the light never dimmed. He saw the result before the world could, and his desire lit the way. This is spiritual law. What you desire with faith, you attract with force. What you obsess over with clarity, you magnetize into existence. And what you tolerate becomes your life. Therefore, tolerate nothing but the realization of your desire. Do not grow soft with time. Do not cool your aim to fit the opinions of others. Let your heart burn. Let your imagination feed on the image of success. Let your repetition burn the picture into your subconscious until it becomes your dominant reality. If you feel your desire fading, go back to your aim. Speak it aloud. Remind yourself why you began. Rewrite your plan if needed, but never replace your purpose. Desire, once ignited, must be guarded, or it will be stolen by the cold hands of average thinking. Burn higher, burn longer, burn until you forget the man you used to be. Write this on your wall. My burning desire is sacred. I give it daily fuel. I speak it aloud. I act upon it. I refuse to live without its fulfillment. Desire is the invitation. Action is the reply. You cannot burn and sit still. The man who burns must move. He must work, he must build, and in building he is transformed, not just into a rich man, but into a great man. So now I ask you, what do you desire so deeply that it would shame you to abandon it? Because until your desire reaches that temperature, money will not take you seriously. But once it does, once you declare with decision, persistence, and fire, nothing on this earth can stop it from coming to you. Part 4. Autosuggestion. Speak riches into your reality. Desire without direction is chaos. Belief without repetition is weakness. But when burning desire is joined with autosuggestion, the spiritual becomes physical. You must now understand the subconscious mind is the bridge between your desire and its realization, and autosuggestion is the vehicle that carries your thoughts across that bridge. Most men attempt to change their circumstances without first changing their instructions to the subconscious mind. This is why they remain in poverty. They beg the world to change while continuing to feed their mind with doubt, hesitation, and fear. Your life follows your deepest instruction, not your wish. The subconscious does not know sarcasm. It does not interpret contradiction. It accepts what is repeated, especially what is spoken aloud with emotion. If you repeatedly tell yourself, I can't afford this, or that's too much, or I hope one day things improve, the subconscious accepts this as command, and the world in turn obeys. But if you begin each day with a declaration spoken with intensity, vision, and absolute belief, your subconscious begins to change. It begins to work for you. It begins to arrange your habits, attention, and behavior to align with the riches you have spoken. This is autosuggestion, the act of deliberately influencing your subconscious mind through repeated emotionalized words. The man who masters this becomes the master of circumstance. He is no longer tossed by winds. He controls the winds from within. There is a formula. I did not invent it. I observed it in the lives of every successful man I ever studied. Write your definite chief aim. Speak it aloud. Visualize it as already achieved. Feel it in your body. Repeat this day and night without fail until it becomes your identity. That is the process. And if you are too proud, too lazy, or too skeptical to perform this process, then let me be clear. Wealth will pass you by. It will find its home in the minds of those who are disciplined enough to train belief the way an athlete trains the body. Do not trust your thoughts. Train them. Do not trust your moods. Speak over them. Do not wait until you feel ready. Declare until you feel ready. The repetition of speech will soon become the repetition of belief, and that belief will bend the world in your favor. Every morning, before the world touches you, stand alone. Breathe deeply. Hold your written aim in your hand. Read it aloud, not like a man begging, but like a man commanding. Speak it until you feel it. Speak it until you see it. Speak it until your subconscious accepts it without question. Then do it again at night. The last thought before sleep is the seed planted in the soil of the subconscious. Water it with repetition, shield it with conviction, and allow infinite intelligence to do what it does best, transform thought into reality. W. Clement Stone understood this. He built an empire by feeding his subconscious with positive mental instruction. Every day he said, I feel happy, I feel healthy, I feel terrific. He understood that emotions obey speech. that belief is built by speaking what is desired until it replaces what is feared. You must do the same, not someday, not when you feel ready. Today, begin now to reprogram the mind. Tear out every phrase of doubt and plant phrases of power. Stop speaking of what is not. Begin speaking of what will be. Say this aloud now. I speak riches. I hear riches. I become what I repeat with faith. Again, with intensity. I speak riches. I hear riches. I become what I repeat with faith. This is no child's play. This is the serious business of wealth building. You are not entertaining yourself. You are reconditioning your deepest mental programming. You are altering the very current of your destiny. The man who says he is rich feels it, believes it, and acts accordingly, even before the money arrives, is the man who will eventually become rich. Why? Because the subconscious has already accepted the outcome. The outer world must follow. Every day you speak your aim aloud, you increase the magnetism of your being. Every time you declare your abundance in the face of lack, you prove yourself worthy to hold it. Every time you repeat belief in spite of appearances, you rise above the mass of men who drift. But you must continue. You must endure the awkwardness, the doubt, the inner resistance. For these are signs of transformation. You are not lying to yourself. You are building a new self. You are evicting the old poverty identity and moving in the one who commands wealth. Write this declaration and post it where you can see it. My mind obeys my voice speaks wealth, my repetition becomes reality. This is the law, and if you obey it, it will obey you. Now, stand taller, speak clearer, walk as one who has chosen to believe, and never again leave the state of your mind to chance. Part 5. Poverty begins in fear. Burn the root. No man can attract riches while he is ruled by fear, not because wealth is cruel, but because fear is a repellent to all forms of abundance. It dulls the imagination. It clouds decision. It delays action. It paralyzes faith. And above all, it sends a loud message to the subconscious mind. I do not believe I am safe to receive wealth. Fear is faith in the wrong outcome. It is belief that misfortune will find you, that judgment will fall on you, that lack is your destiny. And the subconscious mind does not argue. If you repeatedly imagine scarcity, speak doubt, or dwell on disaster, your inner world prepares for poverty, and poverty, being obedient, arrives. There are 6 ghosts of fear that rob men of their power. I have taught them before, and I shall remind you again. Fear of poverty, fear of criticism, fear of ill health, fear of loss of love, fear of old age, and fear of death. But the one that stands guard at the gate of riches is fear of poverty. It must be burned out of the mind. Let us expose it. Fear of poverty shows itself when you hesitate to invest in your mind. It appears when you envy those who have more or criticize them in secret. It stirs when you say, I can't afford that, or money is hard to come by. These are not innocent phrases. They are affirmations of lack, and lack is what they produce. The man who fears poverty will never fully believe in riches, and what he does not believe he cannot possess. Riches require boldness. They require inner conviction. They require you to walk with confidence even when your pockets are empty, because you are rich in belief, and belief always comes first. You must act now to destroy fear, and you do so not with logic, but with action, repetition, faith, and association. First action. Move boldly in the direction of your aim, even when unsure. Fear starves in the face of forward motion. Next, repetition. Speak your affirmations louder when doubt whispers. Do not allow fear to speak unchallenged. Third, faith. Strengthen your belief daily through your rituals of autosuggestion and visualization. Fourth, association. Surround yourself only with those who believe. The man who fears will infect you. The man who doubts will weaken you. The man who ridicules your dream must be removed. Your circle must be a mastermind, not a pity party. Consider John D. Rockefeller. He made massive decisions in uncertain times. He invested in vision when others hoarded in fear. He never waited for approval. He acted with internal permission, and the world followed. You must do the same. Do not wait for the world to remove your fear. Remove it yourself, and the world will follow. Now hear this law. Faith and fear cannot coexist in the same mind. One must dominate. Every time you act in spite of fear, you tip the scale toward faith. Every time you speak belief in the face of doubt, you weaken fear's hold. Every day you persist when results have not yet arrived, you deepen the roots of wealth. Say this aloud with fire. I fear nothing. I am wealth in motion. I act despite uncertainty. Say it again until fear begins to retreat. I fear nothing. I am wealth in motion. I act despite uncertainty. You may not feel it now, but you are becoming it. Each repetition drives the idea deeper into your subconscious. Each act of courage rewires the mind. You are not pretending. You are programming. You are replacing an identity of fear with an identity of purpose. Burn every fearful phrase from your vocabulary. Never say, "What if I fail?" Replace it with, "What if I succeed beyond all imagination?" Never say, "I'm not sure if I can." Replace it with, "I decide and I act, and I learn through motion." This is how wealthy men think, and wealth is attracted to the mental environment you create. Write this on paper and speak it aloud each morning. Fear does not rule me. I rule my mind. I command my destiny through decision and belief. No longer blame your past, your upbringing, your mistakes, or the economy. The only thing that has held back your wealth is the invisible wall of fear, and now you are tearing it down. Now stand firm, burn the root, and let us advance. Part 6. The mastermind opens the gates of abundance. No man, however brilliant or determined, creates lasting wealth entirely alone. The world of riches does not respond to the lone wolf who clings to secrecy and pride. It responds to the law of harmonious alliance, the mastermind. This is not a theory. It is a spiritual truth, and it has made more fortunes than all labor combined. The mastermind is the coordination of two or more minds in a spirit of perfect harmony for the attainment of a definite purpose. When this principle is understood and applied, it multiplies power in ways no man can achieve alone. It opens the gates to infinite intelligence. It awakens new ideas, supplies needed strength, and tears down obstacles too great for one man to overcome. 1 + 1, when united in desire and belief, becomes the power of 12. It becomes genius. It becomes magnetism. It becomes unstoppable spiritual force. This is why I taught it in Think and Grow Rich. Because without the mastermind, desire fades, faith wavers, and plans collapse. You must now ask, who in my life strengthens my belief? Who challenges me to think higher? Who speaks the language of wealth, definiteness, and service? If your circle is made of drifters, doubters, and dream killers, you must separate, not out of pride, but out of purpose. Wealth is a climate. If your environment is cold with fear and polluted with mediocrity, no seed of riches will grow. But if you plant yourself in fertile ground, surrounded by minds that burn with belief and act with decision, then the seed becomes a tree, and the tree bears fruit. Think of Edison, Ford, and Firestone, men of wealth and impact who held retreats together, not for leisure, but to sharpen thought. They formed a mastermind. Their conversations were centered on innovation, creation, contribution, and success. Birds of wealth fly together. You must join them. Do not underestimate the power of association. Your subconscious does not ask whether your circle is wise. It simply absorbs their language. If your friends complain, you will absorb complaint. If they fear, you will fear. But if they believe, if they demand, if they persist, you will be lifted. Now hear this, the mastermind is not always found. It is often formed. Begin with one man of vision. Share your aim. Speak daily. Sharpen one another. Do not allow idle chatter. Keep the fire alive with purpose. From one you will attract more. and soon you will have formed an inner circle of power. Your mastermind must be protected. It must be held sacred. Do not allow gossip. Do not allow fear talk. Do not allow confusion. The moment doubt enters, the mastermind fractures. But when maintained with harmony and focus, it becomes your wealth engine. Say this aloud now. I think with the great, I unite with the wise. Together, we multiply wealth. Say it again. I think with the great, I unite with the wise. Together we multiply wealth. If you have no one yet, then form your first alliance with this teaching. Let my words become your counsel until flesh and blood allies appear. Speak these truths aloud. Repeat them daily. In doing so, you are synchronizing with the frequency of wealth, and wealth responds to those who walk in its rhythm. Look for men and women who live by decision, not emotion, who plan, not wish, who act, not drift. These are your people. And if none appear, then become that man yourself, and others will follow. Write this and post it where you can see it daily. I form my mastermind with intention. I align with those who believe. I am never alone. I am united in power. This is the sixth gate, and once it is opened, the flood of riches begins to rise. But you must step forward. You must seek out minds that match your vision, and together you shall do what none could do alone. Part 7. You must become the man who can hold great riches. Riches do not enter the life of the man who is unprepared to carry them. Wealth obeys the law of suitability. It comes to those who have first expanded their capacity to hold it. This truth cannot be bypassed. You must become the man who matches the riches you seek. If you have not yet received wealth, it is not because you are cursed. It is not because you are forgotten. It is because life is too intelligent to hand spiritual power to the undisciplined, the resentful, or the unready. Wealth is not money alone. It is responsibility, influence, and spiritual weight. If you collapse under small burdens, how shall you carry great riches? You must build yourself into a vessel of abundance. And this begins with thought. You cannot house great riches in a mind cluttered with self-doubt, envy, guilt, or confusion. The man who speaks against wealth cannot receive it. The man who feels unworthy of success shall sabotage it. The man who blames others cannot be trusted with dominion. To become worthy, you must choose to be worthy. You must make the inward decision, I now become the kind of man who commands and holds vast riches. Then you must act accordingly, speak accordingly, live accordingly. Identity precedes income. Woodrow Wilson did not wait for permission to become president. He cultivated belief long before the world confirmed it. He became a leader within, quietly, mentally, daily. And when the opportunity came, he was ready. So too must you rehearse the man you intend to become until he becomes your natural state. Your new identity must be trained. Daily rituals must reflect your purpose. The way you walk, speak, and carry yourself must rise. You are not becoming arrogant. You are becoming obedient to the higher vision that now pulls at your soul. The poor man often believes wealth would fix his life. He is mistaken. Wealth reveals the man. If you are undisciplined, riches will magnify your chaos. If you are aimless, they will intensify your drift. But if you are ready, they will magnify your service, your power, and your reach. To become the man who holds great wealth, you must study yourself. Ask, where am I weak? Where am I vague? What habits disqualify me from holding abundance? Then go to war with those patterns, not once, not for a week, relentlessly until you are changed. Say this now, I am a vessel of abundance. I am large enough to hold great riches. Again, with greater resolve, and I am a vessel of abundance. I am large enough to hold great riches. The subconscious must hear these words. It must believe them, and it will, if you repeat them with emotion and act in harmony with them. Your environment must reflect this belief. Your language must rise. Your expectations must increase. Do not merely chase money. Grow into the man money chases. You cannot pretend. You must become. And becoming requires pain, release, decision, and repetition. You may be called foolish by others. Let them speak. The world does not believe in the new identity until it bears fruit, but you must believe before the fruit. Post this declaration on your wall. My capacity expands daily. I build the character that commands great wealth. I am ready for abundance because I have become abundance. Wealth is not for the man who wants. It is for the man who becomes. You must rise. You must rehearse. You must recondition your entire being until you can hold 10 times more than you once thought possible. Become now, and wealth will follow. Part 8. Demand abundance daily. Repeat until you can no longer doubt. There is one final truth that separates those who think about wealth from those who possess it. Repetition. The world is full of men who start well, who dream boldly, and who declare their intent. But few ever become rich. Why? Because they stop. They stop before belief is built. They stop before the subconscious is fully persuaded. You do not rise to wealth by effort once in a while. You rise by repeating the same truths, the same affirmations, the same chief aim every single day until you no longer question them, and they no longer feel like effort. They become your new normal. And wealth rushes to meet the man who no longer doubts. Repeat until your voice has power. Repeat until your posture changes. Repeat until your thoughts obey your intention. Repeat until fear flees. Repeat until doubt dies. Repeat until you can no longer disbelieve. You must build what I call oversaturation of the mind. The idea of wealth must be so familiar to your subconscious that it feels like memory, not fantasy. Your rituals of speech, belief, visualization, and daily action must be so consistent, so unbroken, that they become the mental environment through which you breathe. Speak your definite chief aim, not as a wish, but as a verdict. Repeat your affirmations until you speak them with natural authority. Perform your morning and evening rituals with reverence. Do not rush. Do not treat them as mere routine. They are your spiritual weapon. They are the seeds of your next season. Say aloud now, I demand more wealth than I can spend. I expect more riches than I can count. And I become the man who magnetizes millions. Say it again. Slow, deliberate believing. I demand more wealth than I can spend. I expect more riches than I can count. And I become the man who magnetizes millions. Do not fear such words. They are not prideful. They are faithful. You are not declaring vanity. You are declaring alignment with the law of abundance. Infinite intelligence rewards those who declare with clarity and obey with action. The average man gives up before repetition bears fruit. He repeats for a week, then forgets. He doubts the process. He returns to old patterns. But you are not the average man. You now know that repetition is the master key. Every truth taught in this message only works if repeated. Faith must be repeated. Autosuggestion must be repeated. Desire must be repeated. Belief must be repeated. And identity must be repeated until the old self is overwritten and replaced by one who cannot help but attract wealth. Build your environment to support this repetition. Write your affirmations on your mirror. Carry your aim in your pocket. Speak to yourself when walking. Do not allow your mind to drift. Train it like an athlete trains the body, with precision, intention, and sweat. You must now listen to this speech daily. Yes, daily, for 30 days, for 60th, for 90th, until you can recite the principles as if they were your own thoughts, until they echo through your soul without effort, until you know them like the back of your hand. This is not entertainment. This is instruction. This is not a motivational hour. This is a spiritual reconstruction. And the only price is your decision to repeat. Say again, I am wealth, I speak wealth, I hold wealth, I repeat wealth until it becomes me. One more time for the subconscious, I am wealth, I speak wealth, I hold wealth. I repeat wealth until it becomes me. Never stop. Never waver. Never allow the old voice of poverty to return. You are now reborn by truth, armed by faith, and sustained by repetition. Your future will bow to you, not because you begged for it, but because you trained your mind to expect nothing less than abundance. Your riches will come, and they will overflow. And when they do, you will say, "Of course, I built this, I believed this, I became this."